recent historic increase in sponsored research and to commemorate UVM becoming a top 100 public research university in the United States, the University of Vermont's Office of Research kicks off its third annual UVM Research Week, starting this Monday, April 15th, through Friday, the 19th. Good afternoon and welcome to Across the Fence. I'm Keith Silva. UVM is often talked about as Vermont's land-grant institution. But what does that mean? Land-grant institutions in the U.S. are where the people of the state and the university come together. And at that nexus point is research. The University of Vermont has a commitment to improve the lives of its people, honor its traditions, and reinforce partnerships that make Vermont, well, Vermont. The architect of UVM becoming a public research powerhouse is our guest today, Kirk Dombrowski. Kirk is, oh, here we go. Kirk is UVM's Vice President for Research and Economic Development. He's been at the university since April 2020. To borrow an old phrase, Kirk is not only a Vice President, he's also a researcher of cultural anthropology and social and behavioral health sciences. Thanks for talking with me today, Kirk.
Thanks for having me, Keith. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Before we get going on what's coming next and Research Week next week, let's take a minute to look at the last 4 years, the Kirk Dombrowski era, the Dombrowski
Caramella era. I was hired to do a job by a president with a vision, and I'm very happy to have done it.
Very good. So this is going to have a long tail, the work that you and the president have done, or you've done on the president's behalf. What are you most proud of?
I think looking back over what we've been able to do the last 4 years, I'm most proud of the faculty and researchers that really rose to the occasion. I mean, I think when the president came in and hired me, we had a vision of really revitalizing and foregrounding the research enterprise. And that hadn't always been the priority at UVM. There was an immense amount of capacity, but it hadn't been the same priority that we wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. And when we sort of opened those doors, people piled through. I get a lot more credit than I deserve for growing research. The work is done by the folks in the labs and in the field and on the boats and in the libraries and in the archives. And they really rose to the occasion, and they've just continued to grow and push the envelope in all areas, and all we have to do is figure out how to continue to feed that drive, which is great.
So what's next?
What's next in research?
What's next? You've got these 4 years and you've built this thing. How do you keep it going, and what's next?
Yeah, I think we have the opportunity to continue to grow because we've added so many young, talented faculty members, and so I think that's a really critical piece. We have a number of new research institutes, which are places where we bring folks together from across different colleges or different units that share a research topic. So you don't have like a department of water at a university. You have geography, you have environmental sciences, you have natural resources. So but we have over 100 researchers in the water sciences area, and bringing them together in a new institute can allow us to really push the envelope on a topic and really make great progress. So we're working in that area. We have a new tech hub proposal that we've talked about briefly, and we're working on some ideas on commercial partnership and wet lab bioincubator work, which would create some startup opportunities on campus. So we've got plenty of ambition to push here. Excellent.
Research Week 2024. I want to emphasize that this is a public event. Absolutely. You know better than anyone how universities are criticized as ivory towers, not open to the public. But Research Week is open to the public. Why share what's going on? Don't you want to keep all your, isn't there some sort of, secrets that you want to keep, some sort of intellectual property rights?
Yeah, well, there are, but actually with intellectual property, we want people to know about it because we want to license it. We want to get it out there in the hands of our inventors, want to see that come in and make a difference in the world. Mm-hmm. So even in the area of our best kept secrets, we don't want them to be secrets. We want them out there. I think the university's role as a talent magnet for Vermont is really critical. You're right. I think that we are a constant source of ideas, invention, research funding. I tell people often we're the largest R&D facility north of Boston. right? That's something that's just, I don't think people quite recognize sometimes, that when you do $250 million of research every year, you're an R&D facility as much as you are an educational institution. And so we're excited about that. We want to bring the public into that because we think it adds a tremendous amount of value. It brings talent into the state, it brings business into the state. Our startups are doing great things across the state, and we are a workforce developer, we're a startup incubator, we're 100 things that we think really benefit Vermont and would benefit from Vermont's vision into our operation.
And I'm hearing you say Vermonters, specifically the people of Vermont. I know there's all sorts of, you can't all come from Vermont, but a lot of the workforce, a lot of the next ideas can come from Vermonters. That's
absolutely, yeah. So I think that, you know, we've talked on the show in the past about a different kind of land grant mission. That's a two-way street. I mean, the old land grant vision of the 19th century was universities had knowledge and they pushed it out into the world. And we still have a lot to offer, but there's a lot of innovation, interest, and really sort of amazing things going on. We put together a Tech Hub proposal with Global Foundries and OnLogic and Resonant Link, great companies that are, you know, Resonant Link, startup company that has this amazing technology that jumped right in on this. So it's a two-way street, that land grant mission, and we're really, we really value that kind of partnership as really central to what we do now.
So fans of college sports know it's difficult to move up the national rankings, yet UVM continually advances in the ranking of public research universities. What sort of effort does it take to break into the top 100? Where are we? And then I'll ask my next question once you tell me where we are.
You know, we're continuing to focus on growing the research enterprise. And so what does it take to break into that top 100? I mean, that's the work of the faculty, the graduate students, the research staff, our institute directors, our coordinators. But one of the things we were able to do was really add a layer of strategy underneath of that by really saying, how do we focus in on areas where we have a lot of strength? And this is, you know, building healthy societies and a healthy environment. That's been our watchword for the last 4 years. And by focusing in on certain areas, the other thing that we did was we just really looked for operational excellence in our research support. You can't emphasize that enough, that for researchers to be successful, the support that brings in the grants, does the paperwork, you know, there's audits, and our team at the Office of Research is 185 support staff to keep an enterprise going across the board. We fix machines, we do contracts, we do federal audits, and we really stressed operational excellence in that area and have achieved it. I mean, couldn't be prouder of my sponsored projects office and my team, research development team, research protections, just amazing, amazing folks who have really stepped it up.
That infrastructure is so important to anything. So is there a number? Do we have a ranking right now?
Our ranking is 83rd among public research universities overall. I think if you look just at federal research expenditures, which is really the most competitive area, we're at 79 as of 2022. We'll expect the 2023 numbers sometime in the fall. There's a lag in the federal reporting cycle. We continue to grow, 8 and 10% growth rates every year across the campus, and that, you know, that drives a huge amount of economy and innovation in the region.
Just a few minutes left. I want to highlight a few things. The first one, talk about accomplishments, was the arrival of the Marcel Melisira. This is UVM's research vessel that goes out on Lake Champlain. You're offering an open house of this vessel right down by the lake. Why did you want people to come on your very expensive boat?
To see what a great boat it is. You know, I think, as we mentioned with the land grant piece before, I think for the people of Vermont and for the community to see what we do and what kind of capacity we have and what it means to the state is enormous. So the Melisira is a research vessel. It goes out on the lake. UVM's attention to Lake Champlain's health, well-being, and future has been a mainstay for the last 15 years. And this is a vessel that allows us to do that critical work on water, wildlife, invasive species, and those things that we know are vital to understanding and protecting the lake. We have others The Rubenstein Ecosystem School there will be open. Our Advanced High Performance Computing Center will be having an open house. Our Institute for Agroecology, the GUN. So I think we're going to try and open our doors to as many people as we can to show off, brag, answer questions, have some fun, and really recruit all of those things that I think make us Vermont's university, right? I think that's what we are, and that's what we continue to want to be. And so that open doors is part of that process.
You've mentioned the Tech Hub a few times, and we've talked about vegan, gallium nitrate on across the the fence several times. I think it's hard for average folks just watching us to understand the game changer this is. You talked about how this is R&D north of Boston. This lab is things that are going to happen there, research that's going to be done there. It's going to impact our lives. Talk about a long tail for decades to come.
That's what we're hoping. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit more about why this is such a big deal.
You know, there's been a big push from the federal government, a CHIPS and Science Act. The federal government's pushing billions of dollars into regaining U.S. leadership in semiconductor research. And we are in the unique position in Vermont, from a long IBM history of having a semiconductor fab here. We work closely with Global Foundries. We have a Global Foundries lab on campus and so on. And when the opportunity came to really, from the Department of Commerce, to push into this, we have a unique niche. So we have some great semiconductor design companies here. Global Foundries is pushing a new kind of technology out of Fab 9. And if the university, the state, Global Foundries, and our local business tech community get together, we are able to really put forward a platform of innovation that can have a huge impact. So we're trying to build a startup economy around semiconductor design in Vermont, and that would be a game changer.
Well, Kirk, we are out of time. Thank you so much. I could keep talking to you about this stuff all day long. UVM Research Week is open to the public. Visit the website on the screen, go.uvm.edu/researchweek for a list of activities and open houses, competitions, and conferences. That takes care of Across the Fence today. My thanks to everyone working here behind the scenes who make this program possible. And as always, thank you for stopping by Across the Fence.